Okay.
Perfect. Well, welcome everybody. I'm excited to have Julie Standard here. We have Old Republic title, and Julie is wonderful. She'll be going over how to do a strategic farming, which is huge and very valuable in real estate. So I'm excited to have you, Julie, and thank you for coming, Lee and Tammy.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here. I'm excited to do this presentation. I try to think of outside the box farming techniques. So hopefully you'll walk away with some different ideas. First one to start off, why are we farming? We're farming because we want to target a community and make a name and a brand reputation and a presence. That's why we farm. And so when thinking about strategic farming, think about rather than just blasting out thousands of mailers or whatever, postcards, whatever you're doing, think about it from the aspect of, I want to be the mayor of this community. I want to ingrain myself in what's going on and become a part of that community. And I think you'll have much better luck. And so there's a couple different ways you can, couple different farm ideas. One is a geographic farm, and you want to target the area based on the characteristics of the property. And the first thing you want to look at in any farm is the turnover ratio. Does everybody know what that is?
I think it is. Isn't it like 11 years that turnover ratio they're thinking of selling again? Is that it?
No, it's so in a certain neighborhoods, people, if you want it to be about a 5 to a 7, that's the number you're looking for. So if it's a 3, that means people are hardly moving. And if it's a higher number, it means that area is being heavily farmed already. And so you just want to get that sweet spot where it's not oversaturated and you have people moving in a consistent pattern. And so anytime you do a farm with the title company, they should be able to tell you what the turnover ratio for whatever farm you're wanting to do is. We have the algorithm to put that together. So some ideas for a geographic farm would be likely to sell: downsizers, upsizers, and non-owner occupied. And that could be maybe owners who have rental property who are out of state. Particularly in Oregon, if you happen to be farming this area, a lot of landlords are wanting to get out of Oregon because of the rental laws. And sometimes, you've had a property as a landlord for many years and you get tired of trash, toilets, and tenants. So those are the things that people get tired of especially if you're self-managing. And it's a good way to go. I had a client send out a postcard that was shaped I live in Washington, and he sent out a postcard shaped in this was the shape of the state of Washington to the non-owner occupied rentals in his little farm, which I thought was very clever. So just think about some different ways to market to people that other people aren't doing. I've never seen anyone do a postcard shaped that way. And so if you got that in your mailbox, you might read it more diligently than if it's just a 4x6 postcard.
That's interesting. Do you have the address where you can actually get that done?
I'll look into that. I don't know where he did it. I know his name, and I know he just was smart with things like that. I would ask Bear Printing maybe, or Corfact is probably too corporate-y, I would think, maybe to do something like that, but who knows? They might have something like that.
Bear Printing, I've heard of that one on your mastermind.
If you haven't used Bear Printing, they have a great system in there. And they're located here, Tammy, but you could use them in any part of the country. But you can get on a postcard system. There's an event, so they have one every month. So you could send those out to your current clients. Like, you pick your area, what the events would be, and then they can send them out, put the postage on them and everything, or you can have them shipped to you and do it yourself. So it's a good resource. Their quality is not quite as good as Corfact, but these are something people are looking at for, not a lengthy time. So I don't know, that it just kind of depends on what your preference is. I'll take cheap over a little bit better quality. in the realm of postcards, that's not true for everything. And so the other type of farm you can do is a demographic farm based on age, income, distressed properties. We can do nationality, and we can even get a farm based on whether the property has pet owners in it. So just a little bit different way to go at things. Some people are looking for a pet-friendly community. And so if you have buyers, you could do a reverse farm looking for a more pet-friendly area. The next type of farms I like to talk about are short-term farms, which are probably my favorite because I think when you really hone in on something, you can get very specific and very consistent without having to make a long-term commitment. So you got just listed, just sold, and you can, if you have a listing, a great way to, especially in a market where it's not the market we're in right now, at least in our part of the town. I can't, in our part of the country, I can't speak to Ohio, but listings are still moving pretty quickly. But if you have a listing that you're having a hard time moving, we can create a farm based on renters in the area that live in sort of a like property that might be looking to buy. And at that point, you could invite them to a special open house that's just for them, as opposed to opening up to everybody. And if you have buyers who want to live in a particular neighborhood, we can do a reverse farm, and you'll want to send personalized letters that you actually have a qualified buyer, hand address the envelopes, use blue ink so that they know it's just not generated, it's not a mass generated project. And I have an agent at EXP who got a $1.2 million listing. They didn't sell to her buyers, but they were impressed with what she did, and she has their listing now. So just lots of opportunity to capitalize on relationships when you do something a little more targeted. So, did the two of you do farming right now? Which, do you do farming, either one of you?
Yes.
What kind of farming?
I do videos for a specific zip code every now and then. I was doing market reports, trying to do them weekly or monthly. And then I was doing CRMs. The challenge was to print 5 a day, 25 a week, and drop them off, you know, in your farm. A mini report on RPR is what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Little cover letter. And it was a neighborhood where I have sold multiple homes over the years. You know, just neighborhoods that I'd already did business in.
And how is that working for you?
Well, I consecutively have. I mean, I'm really lucky. It's a move-in, first time buyers purchase price. You know what I mean? Cute little ranches, brick homes, huge neighborhood called Claritoma Village here in Milford, and I just was, you know, because I live so close, I can walk it and drop off stuff all the time. And then when I do just sold, just listed, and pending, anything in the neighborhood, I really try to give them a lot of information about the market as well. So
sounds like you're doing amazing. How big is your farm?
that one I think has about 190 homes.
A good size, yeah. Not
I 200-ish. So it's a perfect price for any buyer almost.
Perfect.
That's what I like.
I can tell you guys are a little more seasoned. I sit with agents quite a bit who want to have a gigantic farm. And the first thing I ask them is, what's your budget?
Yeah.
And a lot of times their budget is a lot smaller than their vision. And so we got to hone that down. So that's always something to keep in mind when you're farming. Lee, do you have a farm that you're working?
I do. I have to admit that I may have been neglecting them a little bit lately, but you know, I work. There's two that I've kind of have on my back burner, so to speak. One is you know, similar to Tammy's, where I'm working the area where I live because it's convenient, and that one I'm still pretty active on. You know, I do a mailing every month. Occasionally I'll drop off, like, you know, some kind of item of value, like you know, popcorn with a link to free streaming movies, that kind of thing. I mean, what I try to do with my approach is to just try to develop a relationship, and maybe do more soft sell type stuff, so that, you know, I'm kind of lurking there in the background, and hopefully when they're thinking about real estate, I'll come to mind. And then there's another farm that I've kind of been working on, but I mean, I know the key to anything is consistency. So, you know, I know what I need to do. I just need to do it.
Consistency is absolutely the key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like that popcorn idea. I mean, there's also this ice cream idea of renting a little ice cream truck in the farm, but that popcorn idea is really simple and it's fun. I like that idea. Thank you for sharing.
Sure. Well, the nice thing about that is it's not tied to any kind of holiday or date. See, I mean, you know, no one's ever going to turn down popcorn, and you can also give it to somebody more than once too. I wanted to come up with like a generic thing. I use it at my open houses sometimes too, and you know, it's just it's easy. It's a nice, you know, go to when I haven't come up with something terribly clever.
I think that's incredibly clever. Very, very
Well,
clever.
thanks.
So once you have your farm, these are what I would, a mishmash of ideas for how to really integrate yourself into the farm. And some of my ideas would be go to the county and city meetings in your farm and just get to know the people, because it's all about the relationship and how do you get yourself in front of these people that you're mailing to. And use a 4x6 postcard rather than a letter, I would say, because people are way less likely to open a letter and read. I have a guy who I know him pretty well, and he farms my neighborhood, and he's always sending me these lengthy letters that I will never read. I would, if he sends a postcard, I'll glance at it, but I don't even open the letter. So I would say that people are way more prone to reading a postcard, at least glancing at it, than they are a letter that's just generated with, you know, a little sticker or however you print that off in mass. You could create a community Facebook page for your farming area and try and get participation that way, and promote your farm on social media using the hashtags for the area that you're farming. Get a dog and walk the neighborhood. People are creatures of habit. I walk my dog, the same people walk the same time I do every single day. If I was an agent farming this neighborhood, I would probably try and walk the 3 times a day and meet, because pretty soon people, they become friendlier the more they see you. And that's just a, next thing you know, you're stopping and chatting with them. Get Googleable. I see this a lot with agents where I'm shocked at the number of times I put an agent's name in and I can't find them on Google. And how do you get Googleable? Do you guys know the answer to that?
A business page on Google?
Call your title company.
Yeah, there you go. Call your title company. I'm specifically referring to, if I put in Lee Toft, what comes up? Does your name, and if you have a name of a famous person, you might be a few down, but you need to feed the Google search engine, because what are people going to do if they think about using you? The first thing they're going to do is put in Lee Toft. And if you don't come up in that search and they've seen your postcard, how much time do you think they're going to spend trying to find out who you actually are? Not very much. And so many times I can't even find a phone number for agents that come, they maybe attend my class and I put their name in trying to find a phone number, and it is impossible. If I can't find you and I'm working at it, how do you think your clients are going to find you? So do Yelp reviews, get on that Nextdoor app, promote yourself on Facebook and Instagram, because all of those things feed the Google search engine and lift what do I want to say? Your what is the word? The name escapes me. The algorithm. There we go. Thank you. The algorithm that feeds the algorithm that promotes you in Google. So make sure you're doing those things so that people can find you. So if you have a farm going, particularly both of you have one you can walk, I love the idea of door knocking, and with your popcorn, you're already doing that. You could also give out a postcard of the local farmers markets or local events. That's a great way to connect with people without being super salesy. You could host a block party in the area, or I'd love the idea of that ice cream truck. That's fun. You could do a neighborhood garage sale, and always of course, you're going to want to be attending or trying to host open houses, even if it's not your listing, in the area that you're actually farming. And also pay attention to the for sale by owners and the notice of defaults in your farm. You could host a drive, a coat drive, a school supply drive, a blanket drive for the homeless, whatever might interest you. Maybe you like pets, do a pet toy drive for the local humane society. There's so many ways to get creative to connect with people. And once they're with us at an event, we want to capture their name and email address so that you can put them in your database. You've got to put them in your database, and you got to follow up. And once you have that information, you can say, whoops, what happened there? I don't know what I just did. That's not what I was hoping to do. Well,
just also to share a touch base on that. Last year I did a toys drive right before Christmas, a kids toys drive, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, and people will appreciate, and they'll come out for something like that. It's a pretty great way to promote yourself. and whatever you're interested in. And because what you find is you want to people connect with people that are like them. And if you're a dog owner and you are passionate about dogs and someone's doing some sort of a dog event, you're more likely to go than if you are not, you're not interested in that, you're not going to go. So you want to connect with people in an authentic way. And doing these events, it gives you an opportunity to, I'm trying to fix what happened to my screen here. Sorry. Well, okay. Can you guys still see my screen? Let's see. There we go. I think, okay. I think I got it back. So following up is going to be the most important thing you do in your farm. And as you know, it takes 8 to 10, 12 touches just to get connected with somebody. You may get lucky once in a while. Every once in a while, you hear of an agent who sent out a postcard and somebody saved it and called them 2 years later, but that is the exception, not the rule. So as you're planning events and doing things and working your farm, think about what you can do to connect with people. I have no idea what has gone wrong here. Let's see. I'm gonna look at, give me one, I'm gonna go back to my other thing. Hang on just a second. I apologize.
No worries. Lovely technology.
Oh, I don't know.
It works. And
well, it's probably it's user error for sure, because I'm usually not the one doing the presenting. I'm usually just watching. So since rather than put my slide back up, I'm going to just kind of go at ad hoc here. So what I'm suggesting you do with your farms is become the mayor of the town and make sure that everybody in your farm knows what you do, where you do it, and who you are. Because that's the way you're going to build connections with people and build a sense of community so that you are the go-to person. Hey, Lee knows when the next performance is for, if I'm into jazz music in his farm, he's probably going to know because he's a musician. And I have a sense that he gets out and about and he just knows. And so that's a great place for me to contact him if I want that information. So
I got to send you a lot more postcards, Julie.
Do it. I love postcards. And the last thing I would say that I see so frequently is an agent who, when I call them to tell them they're who knows why I'm calling, but it says 5, 0, 3, 2 make sure your voicemail tells people who you are and what you do, because you don't want people in a position wondering if they dialed the right phone number and having to call you again. I would say about half of the agents I call do not have their voicemail set up, which is surprising to me. So when people call you from your farm, make sure you're gettable.
so Julie, with the farm, you mentioned how many times? I saw 8 to 12 touches. And what's after that 12 touch? What is the next step? Or do you still do it
Hopefully
like every
at this
3
point
months or every year?
you're getting an appointment. And if you're farming, you should be sending out something once a month at minimum. And this is the long game. It's not a quick scheme. If you want to do a more shorter farm, I would go towards just listed, just sold. And as you're doing that, hold some open houses that are creative with your just listed. Send out a just listed postcard, invite the neighbors. They want to come anywhere, host a happy hour, capture names and addresses, add them to your farm in that neighborhood. I think to be really successful at farming, you want to go beyond the mailer. You want to get to know the people in the community and connect with them. Because people, I mean, it's so trite. People do business with those they know, like, and trust. They just do. And you don't know, like, and trust somebody who just consistently sends you a postcard. You know, like, and trust the guy who you ran into at the coat drive for back to school or whatever that might be. Or the guy who came by with popcorn and a movie link. Because now I've built a connection like that. You know, now I built a connection with this person. He likes movies. I like movies, you know, he likes music. I like music. So think about who you are and what you like to do and lean into that. And particularly in your farming area, if you are passionate about dogs, I don't know, Humane Society or homeless, go volunteer and get to know the people in the area. And that's one more place you can make a connection where you're showing up as your authentic self.
And then Julie, you also had a program. I remember going through with that with you, and you sent me a whole
I went-
list.
Yes, I couldn't get it to work this morning. I was going to demo it, but if my computer crashed and I have a new one, and not everything is working as it should. But we do have a really great farming program, and you guys can all have access to it, where you can do everything from put in your address for your new listing and click a button and get a list of possible next sellers. Where if you have a Corfax account, you can literally drop down menu, send a Corfax, send postcard. It's like the fastest farm you could ever do. You could have it, it's under 5 minutes. So if you want access to that, I can meet with you and set that up and help you kind of navigate that. And you can draw geographic things in, squares, put in boundaries, draw a circle and ask for 100 names. It's a pretty cool tool that you can kind of monkey with. Most people just end up calling me and say, I need a list of 100 people around this address, rather than do it themselves. But
like I did. Whoops.
Yes. Well, why do it yourself if you've got somebody else who can do it for you? You've others, go market yourself and I'll build your farm. And there's a lot of cool tools in there. If you need a trio, you can bing bang done, get a trio out of there really fast on the fly, so you don't have to contact your title rep if you're on the weekend. I mean, I'm always happy to get them for you. I'll answer my phone if I'm awake. Doesn't matter the day. If I'm awake and available, I will get back to you, regardless of evening or weekend. But you lean into your title rep. That's why we're here. Have us build your farms. Then you can go do what you're doing. Then you can go give out popcorn, or take some sort of item of value around to your farm, or whatever it is you're doing. Go do that and leave the admin to somebody else.
So Julie, do you want to put your contact information and your email, how to set up an appointment with you for that software?
I will do that.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions? No questions? Any
Do
thoughts?
you work in Ohio, Julie?
I don't, but I'm surely must have a colleague who does.
Oh, okay. Just didn't know if that, like the program you were talking about, could be used here.
Oh, it sure can. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I look up properties in other states all the time, so I can't imagine that it wouldn't work just fine. Because I do have agents who are licensed in anywhere from Oregon, Florida, Texas, so they use the tool without. I don't know anybody in Ohio, so I might be speaking prematurely, but I can't imagine that it wouldn't work for you.
Wonderful.
Tammy, what brokerage are you with?
EXP.
You've chosen well.
I've been here just in May. It was a year, so
Nice.
yeah,
Nice,
I really
nice.
like it. It's a great company. The opportunity to give back is always a plus.
Yeah. What are you passionate about in terms of giving back?
I do a lot of volunteering, so I just volunteer at different places all the time. Just whoever raises their hand, I'll just run and go do some volunteering. But I also love dogs, so I used to volunteer a lot more at the shelters and do that kind of thing. So I was actually farming a neighborhood in December, dropping off Light Up the Neighborhood. I bought plastic bags from Amazon, put a little flyer in there that said, hey, let's light up the neighborhood. Here's a lantern and a tea light, and here's a postcard, save the date. Let's all light up the neighborhood, put it out on the end of the drive. Because these are bigger neighborhoods with bigger yards, and I think they had about 90 houses. And I was just starting to farm that neighborhood, so it was my first actual farming piece. And I was viciously attacked by a dog. So
Oh no.
yeah, that put a damper in my, spirits as far as feet on the ground. But I literally was attacked, and he got my thigh. And I'm not going to not stop. I just haven't done it since then because, one, it was winter time, and two, I've had multiple injuries from the bite. And like now my arm was, I needed stitches. And then we found out a couple months later that I had issues with my shoulder. So I had to have significant shoulder damage taken care of. So it sucked, but I'm like, okay, I'm just going to see a therapist. I'll be okay. I can do this. But, I have my lovely Epson EcoTank printer that I specifically bought for farming materials and doing stuff. I like to send out little information when I've listed or sold a property. I'll invite people to the open house, walk a neighborhood, invite them personally with a flyer saying, you are invited to my open house as a neighbor. Come find your new neighbor. You know what I mean? Bring me whatever. So, I mean, I just walk a lot and do a lot and I talk a lot because, if we don't, who are we? So, but yeah,
Absolutely.
I did. I was just lighting up the neighborhood, like I said, and I really was excited about doing that. But I didn't finish it, of course. So, but
That's such a creative idea. I haven't heard that. That is
yeah.
really, really
So
clever. I really like that. I will say
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it
you're
again and
brave.
again. I'm gonna do it in my neighborhood. We actually do it. We've done it for years where we just pay like $10. We get 10 bags and 10 little tea lights, and we just pay for it. And we use some of the proceeds to go donate to something in the local area, some food banks or charities, local. So I just kind of ran with it and took it to the next level and took it to the other little neighborhood right around the corner. So that's the starter neighborhood. And then Signal Hill was the other neighborhood where we have, I'm in the middle of America, Ohio. Claremont County is not high dollar. We do have $1 million homes here and there, especially they're popping up in my neighborhood, but not normal. Our numbers are 300,000 and 400,000. So I had the $200,000 neighborhood that I've been farming for a while, and I've got a lot of, that's a bread and butter. And then I had my 90 unit sphere, which would have been the step up, $300,000 and $400,000 houses. And then the next level was, okay, after I farm this one for a little bit, take it to the next level and do a smaller one with even a higher price point. So I just did, I was like, okay, what can I make the most money with? I would assume, an entry level neighborhood. That's why I did Claritoma Village, and then the second one, and then hopefully I'll get to the next level. But I always want to learn, more tricks. And I try to do 45150, my zip code and my area. And I try to do a lot of videos about restaurants, sharing any activities coming up, like Frontiers Day. We just had a parade, a carnival come, which we do we have every year. And I always try to do a video saying, hey, and I'll share it on Facebook groups 20 times to different Facebook groups, mom groups. Hey, do you guys have anything to do this weekend? Do you know Frontiers Day parade's happening? Or, hey, we have a nice 200-acre, what is it called? It's right across the street from my house. I'm literally drawing a blank. This is what happens when you have menopause. Valley View Foundation, and they do moonwalks every full moon. And I literally, the first time I did a video, I'm like, hey guys, I'm here at Valley View right behind Patterson Elementary. Everyone's welcome. They do, we have river roads and trails escorting us. They're going to open up and guide us through this quick little walk. You can do a 20-minute walk or a 40-minute walk. And, and they had like 90 people show up when usually they have 12. So she was like, Tammy, don't do that again. That's too many people. So anyways,
Those
I
are fun ideas.
yeah,
They
I
are
just
fun
try to
ideas.
keep it local, and you can share everything on Facebook groups, you know what I mean? And the mom groups, like like I try to get the kids, parent, just like, cause I remember when I was young, I would have loved to do and know cute little things about what was happening that were quick and easy that I could just take the kids to burn some energy to wear them out, if you will. So,
Yep.
but yeah, I try to do as much as I can in my backyard. That's my goal. Like you said, be the mayor of 45150.
Yeah, be the mayor of your town, know everything.
Yeah.
Tammy, you might want to try to collaborate with a dog trainer and do an event where they can go ahead and present what they can do. Maybe do like a free kind of introductory kind of thing. That could work pretty well, particularly if there's potential vicious dogs in your neighborhood.
It was another neighborhood, but yes, it is in my zip code. But the funny thing is, I actually thought about interviewing the dog warden in a park and saying, hey, I just want to educate you guys about, you know, there are good dogs and there are bad dogs. Here comes one of mine. I have 4 dogs at the time, mind you. So I'm not a dog hater by any means. I, love them, have always had one. My last one I had for 17 years. So
Aw.
I'm not ever gonna complain. Here's my little nugget.
Oh,
About
sweet.
a dog. This is Kermit the dog. Hi, buddy. And so I bought him, rescued another one. They got pregnant during the pandemic, had puppies. So again, not against dogs, but I was going to do this dog warden thing where I'm like, hey, you guys, they're good dogs, they're bad dogs. I was delivering some packages, got bit by a bad dog. I'm, not going to drop names or anything, but he was a biter. He had already been known in the neighborhood as a biter, but let's talk about safety tips for when we are walking or in our neighborhoods or visiting a neighbor or house sitting or whatever you may be doing. What can you, I didn't know when a dog actually bites you and is latching on that you push towards the dog to prevent damage. The dog jerked on my arm and did a lot of damage, ripped me to the bone. I had to have stitches and you could see my vein. It was terrible. And then I kept saying, my shoulder hurts, my shoulder hurts. And it was because he was jerking on my arm, that I have rotary cuff issue, a torn tendon, and then they had to put something, a graft in there to fill up some other stuff that was messed up. But he really did. But he was a big dog and he wouldn't stop biting me. But the whole point about educating people, I kept thinking, I need to interview him again, go to a park and be like, just want to ask you, you taught me something. What was the number one thing when a dog bites you? What's important to do? Well, push towards the dog. Don't pull away. Because if you're pushing your arm into their mouth, or if it's your arm, I don't know how you could do it with your leg, because he got my thigh and there's nothing I could really do about that. And then he got my ankle, couldn't do anything about that. But it's like, just take an opportunity to spin a positive on it by educating people. And I do need to reach out to him and have that conversation, because I'm like, heck, I can do it with my phone and set up a tripod. You know what I mean? So
Now that's a great idea. That's very creative. Very creative.
But I just thought, and I love the idea that you're willing to share this tool that you have. So I want to definitely email you about that.
Okay, do that. And you're very Googleable. I just put your name in and connected with you on LinkedIn, so you can message me there.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
So good work. Kathy, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry my video isn't working. I don't know why. I'm pushing all the kinds of buttons I can, and I don't know why it's not working. My camera's on.
That's okay. You know what? I had some technical difficulties myself. That's the way this, that's the way of technology.
Yeah, I haven't had it happen for a long time, so I really don't know what the solution is. But anyway, so I'm embarrassed to say I've been farming 2 fairly big neighborhoods for like 3 years now. And I'm on a team. We send professional newsletters, and what we call EDDM. So it's like a 1-page mailer that's not folded or anything. And I honestly don't know how often, but I mean, it's a lot. I don't remember if it's monthly or quarterly. I'm pretty sure it's monthly that they get one or the other, either an EDDM or a newsletter, quarterly newsletter. So anyway, I've only got one thing from somebody on the edge of the farm that happened to get it. And that's been a long time. So that's all. And I mean, I think our stuff is professional and I look like a realtor that's very friendly you would want to deal with. And I don't know, I just don't get anything. But I know it's hard to get in those neighborhoods, like in their Facebook pages, if you don't live there. I don't live in the neighborhood. So it's hard for me to lie and say I do, especially there. You would probably get caught lying, like, oh, you live in that house? No, you don't. So I don't know how to, one neighborhood did let me in the group. Another one didn't, I don't believe. And so I don't know. I mean, I haven't done any of these activities you say, but I just feel like even the professional mailings for 3 years, you think I would get something by now. So I'm tempted to just go knock on doors and say, do you get my mailers? And maybe like people that just recently listed say, do you get my mailers? I'm just curious, and I did this in one other webinar and they said, well, you don't have enough reviews out there, more recent reviews. So I don't know if that's it or not, but maybe I just Googled myself, and I look like I'm all over, but maybe that's because I'm Googling myself. So I don't know.
Well, I can Google you and let you know.
Okay.
And when you Google yourself, you can also right click and go incognito, and then it actually shows you a vision of someone else Googling you.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah. Then you can kind of find out what you actually look like. That's a great idea. But I think it gets back to farming. I call it gamble marketing, because You might get, I do hear of agents just getting a lead out of their farm, never talk to anybody, but it's the exception to the rule. It's not the rule. And I
Mhm.
think the way to successfully farm is you've got to go in and be the mayor of that farm, be the mayor of the town, know what's going on, know what's going on with the city council, or get on the boards, get involved in the community so that you make connections that are authentic to who you are, because people want to work with people they know. I mean, if we're going to hire a roofer and you had a friend who's a roofer versus somebody you knew, maybe not versus a stranger, you're going to go with the person you know or you've had contact with.
Mhm. But I mean, they're just neighborhoods. So how, there's not really a lot going on in a neighborhood that you could really talk about most times, I would think.
What
You
part
know
of
what I daydream? Oh, can I just say what I like to do? I mean, if you sell any house, you can always send your farm once a month, like just listed, sold, and pending all in one lump sum to save money. Or if you have limited funds, use like you said, the very inexpensive just listed card. You can do it on Canva and they'll send it out. But my goal is, and I haven't done it, and I'm giving advice that I'm not doing, but I just keep forgetting I need to do this. So I sold a house and I should have sent that sold to my farm. And then when I listed it, I should have sent that listed to my farm. I could do 20 in and around the area that I listed, but I should always send everything to my farm to let them know I'm a realtor, I work and I have a job, and I really do this. Or I also thought about maybe once every 2 or 3 months saying, hey, look what I've done. I've, not tooting your own horn, but it's kind of saying I am a realtor and I'm full time, but I've just listed and sold this one and the market. And then you give them a quick little update. Hey, look what's happened in the area. Have any real estate questions, call me. It's always like trying to give them something educational, maybe even find an AC guy that'll give you a $20 discount on a service and put a coupon on there. I mean, I've always dreamed about doing these things and I've done them sporadically and I need to be more consistent. But I think like a farm, if you give them something, you might like, I don't know. That's just me. I do it so sporadically. I'm not as consistent, but that's my daydream, to be more consistent. Like I don't do something once a month, but I just try. But I think like what you're saying about you're sending out these postcards, I think showing them that your activity, with listings and pennies might be a good idea. I don't know. I'm just throwing it
I
out
think
there.
that's a great idea. I think that's a
Oh,
really good idea.
you mean like what if you just sell something that's not in that neighborhood though? I mean,
Exactly. Send them the
It
just
won't
listed. Who
matter.
cares?
It won't
Yeah,
matter. Yeah.
yeah. Just do
Yeah,
123 Main Street. You don't have to put the zip code on there. It doesn't matter. I
well,
sold one home. Yeah.
you're just trying to show activity. You're trying to build
Yep.
credibility. The other thing, Kathy, is you don't have to. Not every mailing has to be real estate. I try to
Yeah.
mix up what I send out is like sometimes it's real estate, sometimes it's kind of like a life hack kind of a thing. If you're curious about how many people are actually reading the things you're mailing, put something in there that's some kind of call to action, like call me and for a free cup of coffee or something like that. And that way, at least you'll get some kind of response. It won't be 100%, but you'll get some idea. Like whoever calls you back or responds, at least you'll have some idea of what the penetration is. But I would also mix it up, because if it's real estate every month, or I sold this house, I sold that house, after a while,
Yeah.
it's going to blend in with all the other postcards that they're getting from all the other agents.
yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
what we do. That's what we do on our EDDMs. They're kind of more lighthearted on one side, and then
Mhm.
on the back side is the just listed, just solds, and pendings for our team, not me specifically. And then we do that. I'm pretty sure we do those monthly, and then quarterly is our newsletter. So I mean,
Kathy,
they
where do
get
you
a
live?
lot of
What part of the
Omaha,
country? Omaha. Okay.
Nebraska.
I mean, if you have the resources, you might try sending a mailing that's just from you and that's more about you than your team. Just to kind of, because if a team thing is going to be by nature a little bit more generic,
Yeah,
where
I was wondering about that.
yeah, and I mean,
Personalize it because they're
your
going to
team's
do
not going to
business with
object
you.
because you're promoting yourself. You're part of the team, so it's a win-win.
And sometimes I just do those little videos in the neighborhood. Like I'm a walkability neighborhood to a downtown area that is taking off with coffee shops and cute little toy shops and all kind of chocolatier. So I'll go to the coffee shop all the time and I'll be, if you don't even feel comfortable in front of the camera, just be like, have you guys been to Forager yet? Oh my gosh, I just walked to Forager. I just got a dirty chai tea. It's delicious. Here it is. and tell me what you think and what's your favorite coffee? You know, like you can just do a video of something in your zip code, and then of course put it out on YouTube and, you know, all the social medias, and share it in the Facebook groups, all the 45150 Facebook groups. I put everything. I will have 22 shares, and I've shared every one of them. So it's
So
just
how do you
another
do
way to
that?
put yourself out there. Just
How do you target that?
just the zip code 45150. I just go into my zip code and I look for different groups in 45150, mom groups, all the for sale, garage sale, house for sale, rent, any kind of group in my zip code. I'm a part of it, and I always try to share all my stuff on it. And you know what? If they bounce me out, fine. I just go on to the next one. So,
Okay.
but
So I
even
didn't know if there's a way to
you
do
know,
that through
and it's
Facebook
not
ads or
real estate
something.
related. Most of
You
you don't
can do
even
that
have to
through
use Facebook
Facebook
ads.
ads.
You can literally just share it on the groups, and you will get 500 views in no time. I mean,
Okay.
and it's not even real
Yeah, I'm
estate
not
related.
scared of
And I might
video.
even put EXP on there and say, hey, Realtor EXP here. Me either. Yeah.
Yeah, another thing you
Okay.
could
I
do,
don't care. They're going to
Kathy.
see you. Yeah. They're going to see you in person. You might as well show your face, you know.
Okay,
Another thing
cool.
you could do, Kathy, is go to the coffee shop, and as people are going to pay for their coffee, pay for someone's coffee and just say, hey, look, I'm here. I'm a realtor. If you want to sit down and talk, I could talk about your house or where you want to move to. I mean, that would be a one way to get immediate feedback, and to, you know, you'll know how many people you talked to that day. I'm sure the coffee shop would be very happy as well. You could promote them on online as well as yourself. And, you know, if it's successful, you can turn it into, you know, a weekly or a monthly consult your realtor corner type thing.
That's
Oh
a
yeah,
great
that's a good
idea.
idea.
Don't discount the notion of partnering with businesses in your farm. Find a favorite coffee shop. I tell agents this all the time. Go find a coffee shop you love in your farm area and sit there and work. You can put a sticker of your brokerage on the back of your computer, and people are creatures of habit. You'll get to know people. The barista will know your order, and you'll build credibility within that community. And if you have a barista who loves you and knows you're an agent, people talking coffee shops, not unlikely that they would give your name out. We were at a networking event a couple of months ago, and there happened to be a gentleman there overhearing our conversation, and he came over and met with one of the lenders and said, hey, I need a loan. You just people listen. There's conversations happening, and which creates opportunity.
And also the
Okay.
local barber, that's always a good one. They love to talk to. My hairdresser.
Okay, thank you guys very much.
Lee,
Yeah, I love all these ideas.
anything, do you have any feedback, anything you need help with, any ideas that we can help generate for you?
Well, I mean, I'm still kind of, you know, figuring the best way to kind of navigate around my my limited mobility here, but let me give that some thought. I mean, we're local, you and I, so that's much easier for sure.
Well, I'm happy to brainstorm and powwow with you if you would, any of you, if you would like, because a farm is just, it's just one marketing piece in your toolbox. You need to have at least 3 ways that you are marketing yourself. One could be a farm, one could be social media, one could be networking, one could be volunteering. Like, you need to have different ways that you're building your sphere.
And then connecting them all. That's what I'm trying to do lately. We have all those 3 marketing sources and then connecting them all together, like events, then using the events with social media. And that's the fine spot that I'm getting to figure out slowly.
Well, and it's a work in progress, and you have to retool things occasionally, and you just kind of just keep plodding along, and when you find something that works, really stick with it. And if you're not farming your own neighborhood, I would suggest you do that. I think there's nothing worse than seeing a competitor's sign go up in your neighbor's yard.
That's true.
Sure. I unfortunately live out in the country. That's why I'm farming neighborhoods I don't live in that are 30 miles away, you know. So it's a little more difficult to ingrain myself in the community, I feel like. Except for, you know, like you say, I need to find some local businesses, I guess, to hang out in.
Well, and there's other, if you're in the, there's got to be like a feed store with chickens. I don't know. There's got to be a reason you go there. Maybe there's something, an event you could host there.
I also think you might be able to turn that to your advantage. I mean, since you are out in a rural area, a lot of brokers are not going to have the slightest clue how to deal with doing a CMA or marketing a rural property. So you can, I would almost send to your closest neighbors, which in your case could be 30, 40 miles worth. Just send them a note saying, I'm the expert in this neighborhood. I know rural properties. I know how to market stuff. I can help you get your property ready. I can tell you what you might sell for. I mean, you just want to start a conversation, but I think you're in a unique position to do that. I've done some quasi-rural properties, but I have a feeling that you probably right coming out of the gate know a lot more about them than I do.
Yeah, that's a
there.
great idea.
Well, partially. We have some very good friends whose kids are in real estate in the area too, so I just kind of stay out of their turf and do Omaha.
Well, I mean, you're not trying to poach their clients. You're not necessarily looking for work. You're offering your expertise.
I see.
Are those
Mhm.
people the same? Are they with the same realty company as you? Your friends' kids?
No, no,
Yeah, look, if
nope.
you're concerned about you personally getting, head to head with them, talk to your team. Maybe it's your team that's going to market that area, which you would be spearheading. So, that makes it a little less. I mean, look, there's no law against trying to get business. You're not trying to take business away from people, but I mean, they don't own that area. I mean, you're certainly free to offer people services without necessarily
Right.
trying to.
And then some people will also be drawn to your personality and like you, because not
Absolutely.
everybody wants to work with those teams. They would rather work with you.
Yeah, I think
Right.
that's very important to think about. The last time we thought about selling our house, we interviewed 3 different agents, and one was an absolute no. And then my husband and I disagreed about between the 2 which one we liked best. But they all have 3 very, very different personalities. And I think don't discount the fact that not everybody's going to be drawn to your friends' kids.
Right. That's true. Because they are young and I'm old. Maybe they like
Well,
old people.
And how long have they been in the business?
Oh,
I mean,
not very long. Not very long.
right.
But
So there's
they're
that.
doing very well. They're doing very well, though. I can tell you that. They're doing good. But maybe I could do the other side of the river.
Or you should try to recruit them to your agency.
well, there you go. Kathy, what agency are you with?
Better Homes and Gardens.
Oh, I didn't know they were out there. I'm actually my dad was born in O'Neill, Nebraska, and that's where my family on his side is from. I still have family in Nebraska, Omaha,
Oh.
specifically in Lincoln. I have a soft place in my heart for that part of the country.
Oh,
Ooh,
very cool.
Nebraska. My ex-boyfriend from Switzerland, they actually have a town named after them called Steinauer.
Oh, that's crazy. I have not heard of that town, but very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nebraska's full of
There's
teeny
real
weeny
estate
towns.
connection right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let this is a competitive industry, and I wouldn't let the fact that if I had all my friends are brokers, and if I became one, I'd be their not that I'm planning to, but I would be their competition, and that would just be, it is what it is. Now Lee and I
Yeah.
are competing for the same listings, and he's going to outplay me, and I will not get it. Lee's a
Right.
wonderful musician. If you friend him on Facebook and watch him play taps.
Oh, wow.
You're
Yeah,
too kind.
no, I'm not. I'm just honest. But you guys should for sure all connect. You never know when you have an opportunity to refer business amongst one another.
Yeah, that would be great.
So Kathy, are you on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll connect with you on LinkedIn and see if I can I'll message you and maybe put an email together and connect everybody so that you guys can have some, who knows, you may meet someone, Lee, tomorrow who's looking to move to Omaha.
There we go.
Get that
And then you can
referral
also
fee.
put that software in there. That would be great. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah, I will also make sure I can get you guys set up on that as soon. I'm going to call IT when we're done here and see what can be done about there's a few little glitches with this beautiful new laptop. At least it turns
Yeah.
on. So
Maybe I
There
can
you
get some leads in those 2 neighborhoods for once.
well, yeah, and you work the likely to sell when you have a listing. If you don't have a huge budget, when you list a property, get the likely to sell list and send just list and just sold to that, depending on what your budget is. Budget
Mhm.
is super important with farming because everybody thinks they want to have a 4,000 person farm, and then when they find out what that's going to cost, suddenly it's not so appealing anymore. And I just don't think you're nearly as effective if you really hone in and focus on an area and become the resource for that
Right.
area.
Sometimes
Okay.
less is better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Does anybody have any questions for me? Any feedback, any thoughts? Anything they wish I would have included?
I think it was a good class.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank you. Good. Thank you, Julie. And yeah, I love the ideas with the popcorn, and Tammy with the lantern in winter, especially when everything's dark and gloomy. So that was really, I love that idea.
Yeah, it
So
was
lots-
like December the 11th, and we were going to light up the neighborhood December the 17th, like kind of Christmassy, you know what I mean? So
That's a really fun idea. And I like the idea of it being a fundraiser for something.
yeah.
It's very, very clever.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Well,
So
thank you so much.
Yes, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you, Kathy, Tammy, Lee, and thank you, Julie, for the wonderful presentation.
Thanks everyone for being here. If you have lingering questions or if I can help with something marketing wise, that's client acquisition is my specialty, and I'm available to meet with you guys either in person if you're local, over Zoom if you're not.
Great hat, by the way.
Thank
I know,
you.
I love it too.
Thank you. Thank you. I love hats. So yeah, thank you. My daughter told me I look silly and I shouldn't wear it. So good thing.
That's
Well,
what they
and the-
always say.
What are you gonna do?
And
Yeah.
the pigtails really pull it all together too.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's one of my signature summer looks.
See,
Oh, it works
branding,
for
there
ya.
you go, branding.
It's working.
Thank you, Lee.
Okay,
thanks,
thank you, everybody.
everybody.
Everybody have a good day.
Take care. Bye
I'm
bye.
waving goodbye. I'm waving goodbye.
Bye.